Quite the way to go out in Ohio. As a driver, I won the daily double. My last two drives of the year 2020 in Ohio, we pull pegs. There's only two horses on the property right now. One is a Galarium. She's heading to the farm tomorrow, I believe. And the other one is the horse that just won, Changing of the Guard. Now, a little bit of an awkward position with him now. He's in between classes. He's another horse that you might shop him around maybe. Onwards to two. I think he'd be a nice 4-year-old, but do we stick it out and keep him until he's 4, turn him out, bring him back? We could. I could make a case for that. But, with the racing so tough, it might be better. I know this is the same dialogue. I had two people message me today to remind me that Harness AM won today. Okay. We're going to have horses that get sold and win races. And furthermore, they said, well, Path of Totality was no good. Path of Totality had the 9-hole. And if you're going to put Path of Totality and Harness AM together and make me pick, I'm going to pick Path of Totality every single time. So, Harness AM's a nice filly. She's going to do good for those people. She's going to find it a little tougher up in the non-winners of 4 category. If they have another win in the non-winners of 3, they should be fine. She's a handy little filly, but she's not a killer. She's not a grinder, and I was happy with, would I have liked to win the condition claimer the night she got beat? Yes. Would I like to win the non-winners of 2 like they did today? Yes, I'd love to do that too. Just didn't happen. So that's racing. But keep in mind, if you're of the mindset that every horse that leaves our barn is to be no good, then you might be in the wrong place. There are going to be horses that go forward. There have in the past. There will be again. But it's not like we have a super stable. We have a good stable, a good, strong stable of horses. And other people are good trainers too. I forget who has the horse, but clearly the person knows what they're doing. And she's a handy, sweet little filly in that regard, right? We got the hobbles off her now. She doesn't wear boots. She wears a set of trotting boots behind, line pole on the outside or the inside or something. She's going to be a nice filly to be around. She's going to be a nice, small, stable horse. Is she going to win the Open fillies and mares? No. She's going to be a nice horse for them, and that's good. So, Changing the Guard fits in the same category, right? Not quite. I'm not saying he's as good as Harness AM. He's a much bigger horse. I would say if we turned him out and brought him back, he could be a decent 4-year-old, but I could be wrong. And then we just turned out a condition claimer to bring him back and be a condition claimer. So, might take this win tonight and maybe list him on gate for 18 or 20,000. We gave 12 for him. The horse is racing good. He's worth that. He's worth 18 or 20. Race on any size track for a horse his size. Give him another 20 starts, stretch him out, let him put some muscle on. He could be a horse that could race at the Meadowlands. He could race anywhere. But that speed's not there yet. Wonder, could you have your lights any brighter? No? Okay, thanks. We're not there yet, and he's a number of starts from proving me right or wrong. But it doesn't change the fact of where we're at right now. So very impressed with Changing the Guard tonight. He did what we bought him to do. He won. Now it might be worth saying, we put away some money. It might be worth selling him. There's a number of horses that won't be coming back to Canada, and for a number of reasons. Changing a Guard can't come to Canada because although he fit the maiden, he has 4 wins, and those fair wins, they count in Ontario. They don't count over here. So there's a big reason that Changing of the Guard can't come to Canada. But again, non-winners of 2 horse with 4 or 5 lifetime wins. A good-looking horse for a lot of people. So that's where I would Changing the Guard. I won the first race. I don't even know the horse's name, to be honest. I didn't know I was driving it until I went up to sign in for race 2 and looked on the program and saw I was down to drive a horse in race 1. So I won the last 2 races of Ohio this year for me were both victories, so that's good. Last race for Jason was a win. Good for him. Got one for the Gipper. And just a great note to go out in Ohio. I was disappointed with Path of Totality today. She didn't fire. Bryce kept her off the gate maybe a little too far, but it's hard. You ask a guy to drive a horse for the first time, it's hard to get it down right. And when I knew that I couldn't drive the filly, and it was all math. It was my fault. She was in race 11. I simply didn't have enough time to get back to Northfield. It was impossible. So I had to make a tough choice, and I said, she's got the 9-hole at the Meadows. I picked to win and second in the first 2 races here. Sometimes Anthony has to do what's right for Anthony also. And Changing the guard's not a simple horse to drive either. So I opted to come here. Now they scoped Path of Totality after, full of mucus. Maybe that wouldn't be a big deal, but it is. Because now that's 3 times this filly scoped full of mucus after she raced. She is dangerously close to me just pulling the plug and saying, okay, this is a filly that has a little chip in her knee. Although she's not lame, at some point in her life, you would think she would be. So realistically, we would shut her down, take that knee out, rehab her. By the time the corks come off, this filly's ready to start training, and we have a really nice 4-year-old. That scenario will play out. Just when will it start? I don't know. Does it start now? It could. Let's see what happens over the next week. This filly certainly didn't seem tired or sick or anything other than really good the last time I drove her. So let's treat the symptoms and keep a very close eye on the Path of Totality situation. Is that fair? I think that's what we'll do. So that's where we're at. I have a few drives tomorrow at the Meadows. I have to qualify Jazzy Judy and Tim's horse, I believe, unless he doesn't want me to, on Thursday morning. And then that's it, virtually. Now, I will come back to the Meadows. The Meadows is a 5-hour drive for me. I have to get the baby situated around. I have to get the barn squared up. I believe I talked a couple of our helpers over here into coming to Canada. We got one of our longtime helpers back after a year or 2 hiatus. So things are moving along nicely. It would be nice to get James and Danny O'Brien back to the barn. Hopefully Danny watches this. And, you know, if he doesn't feel comfortable coming back for a bit, I understand. I know that it was going to be December 1st before we could get him back anyway. So let's all start working on Danny throughout the month of November to get him back in December. James was going to the doctor now. When I get off this video, I'm going to call James. If he thought that if the bone was starting to set. Now, James is hard on himself. You know, I 100% agree with what he did for his own right. He broke his collarbone, but he had all these stakes in front of him. He won the Canadian Pacing Derby. He won a super final that night. He got his name back out in front, you know, to where he's people are talking about him again. Not just because he's tough, not just because, you know, he's driving with a broken collarbone, but because the kid's got talent. And I completely understand where he was coming from. Now it's time to start paying attention. And he said if the bone was starting to heal, he could go. We have half of the babies are broken going. Amy jogged 3 of them the other day. So James can go with those ones. I want to get back, start getting the horses broken going. If we have any bad ones, address those, fix those, and then get squared away for Harrisburg, for Timonium. Anyway, that's it for your video tonight. I am super pumped. Changing of the guard. You know, I went out a winner at Northfield Park this year in 2020. Had 2 drives on the last program of the year for me, and they were both winners. I can't remember the name of the first horse, but I do remember the name of the second horse. Changing of the guard, a winner for us tonight at Northfield Park. So, talk to all you guys soon. Hope you had a good day. I did have a good day. I had a good day today. Take care.